Elmist Continents is ruled by 3 powerful territorial realm tribes: Bren Realm Tribe, Alden Realm Tribe, and Ebel Kingdom. The north is controlled by the wolf-riding Bren Realm Tribe. The south is ruled by the dragon-controlled Alden Realm Tribe.
I am the princess of the Ebel Kingdom. My father reigns as the king of the entire realm. On my 18th birthday, I was brought into the palace hall. As the daughter of the king of the entire realm, I had to choose one of the lords from the 2 major realm tribes as my political spouse. The chosen one would be crowned as the supreme ruler of the continent.
Eve, who will you choose?
I choose. I did not hesitate at all. I chose KZ Alden. He is the coldest and fiercest dragon lord of the Southern Territory. Feared by everyone, no one dares to approach.
No! You should have chosen me!
In every noble banquet before, I had expressed my feelings to him, and even once took a poisonous arrow for him. But they didn't know. Help! Please! During the pregnancy, he humiliated me in every possible way and finally locked me in the dungeon. I and my unborn child died with resentment. When I opened my eyes again, I returned to the time before marrying him. This life. I decided to fulfill his love affair. But unexpectedly, Cain would go crazy with regret for me. Just as I walked out of the council hall and crossed the training ground, I saw him, Cain. He was training with the soldiers, accompanied by that giant ice-plane white wolf. A flash of silver light passed. His curved knife came off his hand and smashed heavily onto the ground, landing 3 feet in front of my boots. Without even raising his head, he commanded sternly,
Pick it up!
The soldiers instantly froze, their eyes fixed on me, waiting to see a good show. I knew this trick too well. In my previous life, just because I always did whatever he said, he treated me like a lowerly servant. You dropped it. Pick it up yourself. Anger surging in his eyes.
Say that again. Well, Eve, you've changed your tune. Only days ago you were utterly devoted to him, and now you put on princely airs as a princess. You were once his shadow, clinging to his side every day. Do you think your father, the High King, would be proud of how you carry yourself now?
The faces of those 2 young masters instantly turned pale. My gaze cold, I swept a glance over the 2 of them. Your fathers live only by clinging to the Abel Kingdom. You are nothing but distant vassal. How dare you pass judgment on me? Hide those repulsive, fanning looks of yours. Lena limped over, one leg of her pants stained with blood. The wound on her leg was self-inflicted, deliberately, in order to frame me and make Cain despise me even more. She squatted down, biting her lip tightly. I had tried to explain, but he refused to believe me.
I told you to rest. Why did you come true light?
Lena likas her Jens. Cain, I was worried about you. I heard you were training. I was afraid you might get hurt. Princess Eve is of noble status. She can't do such rough work. But I think I can do something for you.
Can't you learn from Lena? You hurt her like this and you still want her to do these things? You just stand there like a spoiled waste! Are you begging your father again with the sympathy act to marry me? Eve, you are so pathetic. Only using tricks to force me to stay by your side.
I looked utterly disdained, my tone calm. I didn't say anything. I just told my father that my coming-of-age ceremony will be held as scheduled in 3 days. And you absolutely must come. The surroundings instantly fell silent.
Congratulations! When you become the king of the entire realm, don't forget us!
His arrogance fully displayed.
Let me say this in advance. Even if we do get married, don't interfere with my and Lena's affairs. Know your place. Otherwise...
His eyes darkened, his tone sinister.
I will lock you in the dungeon again.
What does he mean by that? Again? Cain picked up Lita and turned to leave, without even giving me a glance. He now thought I would still choose him firmly like in the previous life.
On the day of the coming-of-age ceremony, I had already changed into the Ebel royal family ceremonial dress. Under the maid's help, the ceremonial avenue paved with white stones outside the square was lined with Ebel purple flags on both sides, and the square was already filled with nobles and soldiers. Cain and Lena stuck tightly to his side. Her lips were swollen and red, and there were fresh scratch marks on his collarbone. No need to think. They knew what they had been doing. In my previous life, I also stood in front of everyone like this today.
I have never wronged you in the slightest. Why on earth would you treat me like this?
Everyone laughed at my embarrassed state, and Cain showed no concern for me at all. At that moment, my heart ached so much I could barely breathe. So in his heart, I was not even as good as the humblest slave. Even though I had taken a poisoned arrow for him and given up my dignity, he only wanted to treat me as a joke, trampled upon by anyone.
Cain, isn't my figure better than hers?
Cain noticed the few seconds my eyes languid on them, and instinctively shielded Lena behind him.
After waiting for a long time without seeing me explode, he instead felt uncomfortable and put on a mocking smile.
Eve, you're not afraid I won't marry you, so you're deliberately pretending to be so generous, are you? Today you're being sensible. So how about this? Go to the hot spring in the back mountain after the coming-of-age ceremony. Remember to wear nothing.
If your think is good enough, maybe I'll generous enough to let you spend a night in my bed.
Lena immediately raised her eyebrows, her eyes full of charm. Cain, isn't my figure better than hers?
You are, of course, 10,000 times better than her. That hot spring was originally prepared for you.
I especially had people add flower petals to the water, waiting for your wound to heal so you could soak in it.
Whistles and obscenities rising and falling one after weather.
Show some respect, Cain. In my previous life, he also did this, making fun of me as a plaything in front of everyone. I was shaking with anger, but he held Lena and laughed even more happily, saying that my shy and angry look was the best to please him.
He sneered and said that I was just a cheap whore who came to him willingly.
Still pretending? A woman like you can never hide the wantedness in your bones.
Show some respect, Cain. He laughed as if he had heard a joke, raising his eyebrows.
Respect? Didn't you even give up your life to marry me?
Anyway, you'll eventually go to bed with me, so why are you playing the virginity card now?
Who said the person I'm going to marry is you?
I heard that a while ago he skinned a few vassals who provoked him.
Not marrying me? Then who do you want to marry?
The whole continent knows that you would even give up your life for me.
Is there any other lord willing to marry you?
Oh, you have to choose between me and the Southern Lord Casey Alden.
He laughed as if he had heard the biggest joke.
I heard he spends all year training in the Black Forest.
Who doesn't know that he has a violent temper?
I heard that a while ago he skinned a few vassals who provoked him. You're not going to choose him, are you? If you marry him, are you afraid you won't die fast enough?
Why aren't you talking?
Weren't you pretending so well just now? Scared now?
Sister is probably thinking of the rumors about Cain, right?
If Sister really marries him, I'm afraid she don't even leave a complete corpse.
Why is Sister saying this?
In my previous life, I would have probably already pounced on Lena to tear her hair out. It's different now.
Who I choose. We'll find out soon. I turned around and couldn't be bothered to look at them anymore. Why is Sister saying this? I'm just worried about you. After all, you even dared to take a poisoned arrow for Cain. Sister! Even if you don't like me, you can't push me. My leg isn't healed yet. It hurts so much.
Secretly curling her lips at me, and suddenly found it ridiculous.
We helped Lena up from the ground, the heartache in his eyes undisguised.
She is your sister!
I didn't touch her.
I looked at Lena hiding behind Cain, secretly curling her lips at me, and suddenly found it ridiculous.
Still dare to lie.
Cain stepped forward, raised his hand, and grabbed my wrist.
Who in the entire evil kingdom doesn't know you're jealous of Lina?
If it weren't for you clinging to me back then,
I wouldn't have given you a second glance.
Forget it, Cain. Sister is probably too sad. After all, she always thought you would marry her. Her words seemed to mediate, but actually nailed the words clinging shamelessly, even tighter. The surrounding murmurs grew louder, and some people began whispering. Shut your mouth, Lena. Who do you think you are to speak here?
Lena shrank behind Cain, the curve of her lips impossible to hide. Cain raised his hand and slapped me hard across the face. The people around let out a gasp of surprise.
Yes, this is the effect I want. He certainly couldn't stand Lina being humiliated.
I want everyone to see clearly the shamelessness and hypocrisy of Cain and Lena.
Lena shrank behind Cain, the curve of her lips impossible to hide. She deliberately rubbed against Cain's embrace.
Cain's hound hung in mid-corm, probably thinking that the slap just now's was too heavy, his Jadamborged bobbing as if he wanted to say something.
Cain, my leg hurts so much, I want to rest.
Her slender fingers gently wrapped around his wrist, pulling his attention completely away.
What are you still standing there for? If something really happens to Lena, I won't let you off.
I suddenly remembered that in my previous life, for Cain, I practiced day and night on the training ground, wanting to be more worthy of him. Back then, I thought that, as long as I was strong enough, I could keep love. Now thinking about it, I only find it absurd.
Soon the announcement of our engagement will be made. If you know what's good for you, remember your place. After marriage, I will give you the dignity you deserve. But don't delude yourself into meddling in my and Lina's affairs.
Almost at the same moment, a deafening dragon roar exploded from the sky. A giant pitch, black dragon landed steadily beside the platform outside the square.
I looked up. and met a pair of deep blue eyes.
His voice carrying an unquestionable pressure. Everyone knew well that the coldest lord of the southern realm, Case, had a notoriously violent temper. He had just skinned several vassals who provoked him a while ago, and at this moment he seemed to carry the lingering smell of blood on him. The legs of the few young people in the front row almost gave way. Someone's wine bowl crashed to the ground with a clang. He stopped in front of me, his gaze falling on my swollen cheek, his voice carrying an unquestionable pressure.
What happened to your face?
Looking into his deep blue eyes,
I suddenly remembered how, on my deathbed in my previous life, he had single-handedly broken into the basement and carried my body out.
See? She still has to obey.
I tugged at the corner of my mouth, trying to hide the swelling.
It's nothing.
This is a matter between me and Eve. No need for you to concern yourself. Eve will soon be my wife. Her affairs are naturally mine to decide.
Kay didn't give Cain even a single glance, only reaching out his hand wearing dark iron dragon pattern gloves, gently and steadily holding my hands, his tone leaving no room for refusal.
Your Highness has been waiting long. Let's begin the ceremony.
I followed behind him as we walked inside. Passing by Cain, I heard him say in a low voice to Lena,
See? She still has to obey.
The pride in Cain's eyes almost overflowed, as if he had already seen himself ascending the throne. But that pride didn't last long.
Today is an important day.
When everyone walked into the great hall, my father, leaning on his golden scepter, came down from the high platform.
His silver-white long hair shimmered in the lamplight. Though over 60 years old, his back was straight as a rammar. Father smiled and held my hand.
Today is an important day.
He paused, his gaze sweeping over all the nobles and empressors of vassals in the hall.
Eve has turned 18, and I have no other children. According to the rules, she must choose one of the heirs of the Byrne and Alden realm tribes to become her husband. After marriage, her husband and Eve will together serve as the next king of the entire realm.
A gasp arose in the great hall, and many eyes turned towards Cain with undisclosed envy. After all, everyone knew how madly in love with him I had been.
Now, let the chosen child come forward, and I myself will witness it.
Father patted the back of my hand.
Cain immediately straightened his chest, raised his chin high, and had already taken half a step forward. But Father stopped him with a raised hand.
What?
Cain, hold your patience and wait.
Cain looked at his father, full of confusion. Father turned his head to look at Case, who was standing in the corner. Case was holding a bunch of starlight flowers, just picked from the Dragon Valley, the petals shimmering with a faint silver glow in the lamplight. He walked step by step to the center of the hall.
Eve, are you ready?
I nodded and pointed toward Caden. My future consort is Casey Alden. As soon as the words fell, the murmuring in the great hall instantly exploded. People began talking among themselves.
How could it be him? Doesn't Eve love Cain so much she would give up her life?
How could she choose Cain?
Right? Is there a mistake?
Eve, are you really sure you want to choose Cain?
Father sat in the high-backed chair, his brow deeply frenelled.
Father knows you have always liked him very much. If you are sure you want to marry him, I will support you.
Father sighed, his voice heavy.
But my daughter, this is a very difficult path to walk.
At that time, I knelt before my father, my voice firm.
Father, before I was stubborn and deluded, but now I am awake. I choose Casey.
Cain's face instantly turned very ugly. He rushed forward 2 steps, his voice full of urgency.
Your Majesty, could there be a mistake?
Father glanced sideways at him and struck the scepter heavily on the ground.
Though I am old, I am not so confused as to mistake the person. How could there be a mistake in a decision that determines the future of evil?
The chief ritual officer standing by took over, unrolling the scroll in his hand.
The king has spoken very clearly. The decree proclaims, the spouse chosen by Obel Princess Eve is the Southern Dragon Lord, leader of the Olden Realm tribe, K.E. Olden.
Impossible! There must be some mistake!
A trace of lingering hope in his eyes.
Eve, it's a mistake, right? You chose me, didn't you?
I raised my eyes, my gaze firm as a rock, every word clear, reaching every corner of the hall. From today on, he is my Eve's prince consort, the one and only love of my life. When Kay looked up at me, a trace of surprise flashed in his deep blue eyes. People couldn't help but whisper among themselves. And even less had they expected that the always solitary Kay would accept this marriage alliance. But Cain was like an ignited powder keg, suddenly grabbing my wrist with such force that it almost crushed my bones.
Liar! You clearly love me! Who in the entire continent doesn't know you would even give up your life for me? How could you choose that violent man?
Someone must be forcing you.
The ministers quickly stepped forward to pull him away and shouted sternly at the Cain's guards who were showing signs of movement.
Haven't you taken him away yet? Are you trying to cause trouble here?
Only then did those guards reacted, and with much difficulty they grabbed Cain and dragged him out. Cain was still struggling wildly, his hoarse shouts echoing in the hall.
Eve! Say it! You made a mistake, right? The person you chose is me!
Father waved his hand impatiently, and the soldiers guarding the door immediately closed the great hall's doors. At the banquet after the coming-of-age ceremony, torches cast dancing shadows on the stone walls. I swept my eyes over the moving crowd, but still didn't see Cain's trace. When I turned around with a glass of berry wine, I happened to bump into a solid chest. The cold, pine wood scent entered my nose. In my previous life, when I was locked in the basement by Cain, it was Casey who kicked open the heavy wooden door and carried me, on the verge of death, out. He was covered in wounds at the time, and he roared at the rowdy Cain and soldiers.
Whoever dares to lay a finger on her again, I will skin you all and bury you with her!
After I died, he bathed the entire royal palace in blood and placed all of Cain's shameful crimes before my father, and only then did I understand that this violent man had placed me in such an important position in his heart. After rebirth, a voice always echoed in my heart. Choose him, no mistake. After the banquet began, my father beckoned Kaylee to sit beside the main seat. Everyone knew this was a gesture to affirm one's status. Cain, reeking of alcohol, stumbled and squeezed in front of father, his voice huggy.
Your Majesty, you cannot let them marry.
Father looked at his drunken state, both angry and anxious.
Drag him away! Get back to your quarters in this drunken state. Do not bring shame upon your father here.
But Cain clung desperately to the table, refusing to leave.
Your Majesty, Eve and I grew up together. We know each other's hearts. You cannot separate us.
When I was little, Cain's father was my father's closest friend. Cain would often come to the palace to play with me. He once climbed the highest cliff in the moonlit valley to pick the rare star bloom for me. And once blocked a beast for me. Those warm memories were exactly why I had been so devoted to him, until Lena appeared. Her beauty bewitched him, and under her constant provocation, he gradually began to loathe me. Father glanced at me, his tone sarcastic.
Grew up together, know each other's hearts? That's not quite what I know. Eve, you tell him yourself.
I gave a faint smile, my tone calm. Father, I don't know why Cain is saying this. Cain's eyes tore in disbelief.
Eve, I love you! It's always been you!
I know. You're jealous. You're angry that I gave the snow fox fur I hunt last time to Lena, so you deliberately found Kae to anger me, Draenri.
Cain, you can't say things like that carelessly. I am already preparing to marry Kae. Hearing this, Cain's face twisted with rage as he reached out to grab me.
Eve, you cannot marry someone else. You can only belong to me.
His wrist had just risen halfway when Kae's hand gripped his arm like an iron vice. With a light crack, Cain groaned in pain. Cold sweat instantly seeping from his forehead. Kae's eyes were cold as ice, and the violent aura emanating from his body made everyone around step back subconsciously.
Don't touch my woman.
Kae's voice was cold as ice. And with a flick of his wrist, he threw Cain to the ground.
Take him away!
Cain still wouldn't give up. He raised his head and shouted at me.
Eve, say quickly that you love me! It's me!
I ignored him, turned to Cain, and showed a faint smile. But he withdrew his gaze, picked up the strong liquor on the table and drank it in one gulp. the movement of his Adam's bone hiding emotions that couldn't be read. Rumors in the evil kingdom spread like weeds, and within just a few days they reached every corner of the Elvemist continent. Some said that for my sake, Cain had argued with the evil king in the Great Hall. Others said that since I chose Kavy, Cain spent every day fooling around with Lena.
I didn't care about any of these rumors at all. The wedding ceremony between Kay and me was set for next month. One morning before the ceremony, Kay found me at the training ground.
He leaned against the long knife stuck in the ground. Morning dew wet the tips of his hair. After a long silence, he spoke, his voice carrying a barely missable tension.
Outside, they're all saying that I am violent by nature, with a lot of blood on my hands. Aren't you afraid?
My hand holding the bow paused, and I turned to meet his gaze.
Afraid of what?
Afraid that one day I might lose control and hurt you. But even if you are afraid, it's too late now. No matter if you regret it later, I will never let go. Ev, in this life, you can only be Case's wife.
I suddenly remembered how he had fought against the entire Bren Realm tribe for me in my previous life, and my heart felt a surge of warmth.
I have never regretted it, and I am not afraid of you. I have heard those rumors, but I know better that you are never what they say.
You.
The one I chose is you, Kay. From beginning to end. I have never wavered.
Eve, remember what you said today.
I will.
When I returned to my quarters, Lena was sitting by the fire roasting meat skewers.
Sister, you sure know how to pretend. So you were just pretending to like Cain all along, and your ultimate goal was to marry Kavy, right? Just wait. When he gets unhappy one day, the first one he kills will be you.
Lady Eve, Lord Cain, he has brought people.
I saw Cain leading a few followers standing outside the quarters. The surrounding area was packed with people, whispering among themselves, their eyes full of curiosity.
How can the young bearer of the noble Bren Realm tribe be so shameless? I also heard he slapped the princess at the Arnage ceremony.
What? Really? That's our noble princess. How dare he be so presumptuous?
Really, I saw it with my own eyes.
Oh my, poor princess. Cain, have you come to take me away?
But Kanan didn't even look at her. He walked straight to me, suddenly dropping to one knee, and pulled out a silver moon ring, set with a ruby from his pocket, holding it up to me.
Marry me!
Shut up!
Eve, I know I was wrong before. Give me another chance. Marry me, and I will spend the rest of my life cherishing you and will never let you suffer the slightest griefs again.
Are you mistaken? Isn't my sister Lena the one you truly love? I'll let you two be together.
Eve, listen to me. It's all a misunderstanding. In my heart there is only you. No one else compares to you.
That's not what you said before.
You said that after marriage I just need to behave myself, not ask about things that aren't my business, and that I have no right to interfere in your and Lena's affairs.
That was me being deluded! How could I really treat you like that?
Kane, you clearly said you liked me the most. Said I was more beautiful and sensible than sister. Said that after marrying Eve, you would marry me.
Shut up!
Kane impatiently raised his hand and slapped her, the force just as hard as the time he hit me.
How can you compare to Eve?
Bitch, you were the one who seduced me. If it weren't for you, how could Eve have chosen someone else? A scheming woman like you doesn't deserve to stand by my side!
But Javant, at this point, he still didn't think he had done anything wrong, as if all faults should be borne by others.
How can you compare to Eve?
It turned out that he had seen everything that day, but had deliberately pretended to be deaf and dumb.
Eve is the true-blooded heir of the Abel kingdom. You're merely a distant cousin on her side, living off the charity of the royal family as a dependent. I only ever toiled with you. Did you truly think I would marry you?
She was my mother's distant cousin. After her parents died, she came to take refuge with my mother. Yet she has always craved what was never hers to have, even my destined mate. She tries to take from me.
I am not living on charity! I am not!
You think I don't see it? Your blood, your rank, nothing stacks up to Eve. You're not even worthy to be her servant, and you thought you could be my wife? Eve, don't go. You've seen it too. I've already broken ties with her. I will never have anything to do with her again. Just give me another chance, okay?
Lord Kane, please show some self-respect. I already have a fiancé. Perhaps in your realm tribe you can get whatever you want. But there is one thing you can never get. The road of return. In this world there is never a road of return. The wedding ceremony between Kay and I will be held soon. Everyone is welcome to come and watch.
Kane tried to pester me further, but I broke free from his grasp, walked straight into my quarters, closed the door behind me, and ordered the guards not to let anyone in.
But Miss Lena was stopped by Lord Kane outside the quarters. I heard that he also scolded her, said she didn't know her place.
We just nodded faintly. Jasa people and Jasa matters had marm been irrelevant to me. For some reason, Case's footsteps suddenly stopped. Kane was blocking the way. On the day of the wedding ceremony, I got up before dawn to put on my makeup. He bent down, lifted me up from the bed in one swift motion, and strode out of the room. I quietly looked up at his profile. He and Kane were completely different. Kane was like a restless wildfire, always carrying a cynical roguishness. But Case's features were cold and hard, his jawline taut, his nose bridge high and sharp as a knife cut. Some said his personality was too aloof, that he didn't know how to love. But I had seen him rush into the basement like a madman for me. Looking now at his tightly pressed lips, a warmth surged in my heart. Walking the same path to the ceremony grounds, following behind Kane in my previous life, my heart was full of apprehension, afraid he would change his mind. This life, leaning in Case's arms, there was only calm, like finding someone to rely on. For some reason, Case's footsteps suddenly stopped. Kane was blocking the way.
Eve! Come with me!
No one had expected that Kane would dare to cause trouble. Case put me down to go forward alone, but I held his wrist.
From today on, we share everything together.
Eve! Come with me!
Cain, I thought I'd made myself clear enough. If you have come to watch the ceremony, Cain, I welcome you.
If you have come to cause trouble, don't blame us for taking action against you.
Watch the ceremony? Have you forgotten? You clearly said you loved only me. That you would marry no one else in this life. And now you are willing to break that vow for someone else.
Kay, almost instinctively, pulled me behind him and confronted him directly. With a crack, the knife was already grasped in his hand.
Are you crazy? How could you block it with your bare hand? Let's find a healer right away!
Before you only worried about me, now you aren't even looking at me.
He is my husband. Who else would I worry about if not him?
Cain, stop it! I'll go with you! I'll give up everything!
God is my witness! I truly know I was wrong! Please! Give me another chance! In this life I will denting be good to Ev, and never leave us make her suffer again!
I ignored him. The healer who had arrived banded Kay's wound. Fortunately, the blade had only cut the skin and hadn't injured the bone or sinew. Kay used his uninjured hand to hold my hand, leading me towards the altar before the statue of God. Father stood on the high platform, holding the golden ceplet, his gaze kind yet solemn. Thousands of nobles and tribal envoys in the square stood in silent reverence, everyone's eyes focused on us. Casey stopped before the statue of God and turned to face me. He knelt on one knee, played the dragged greatsword set with the deep red ruby across his palms, and spoke in a low voice that clearly echoed through the entire venue.
In the name of the Black Dragon, I, Kay Alden, hereby swear, from this day forward, I will protect Eve Ebel with my life, defend her dignity with my blood, crown her glory with my crown. Whether in war or peace, I will stand side by side with her as king.
I looked into his deep blue eyes, and a long-lost sense of peace rose in my heart. I reached out, interlocking my fingers with his, and spoke in a firm and gentle voice. I, Eve, Princess of the Evil Kingdom, hereby swear, I choose Kazan Alden as my husband, to jointly rule the Eldmist continent with him, share in honor and disgrace, never to part in life or death. Later I heard that after Cain returned to the Bren realm tribe, the Bren leader personally gave him a lengthy reprimand and finally ordered him to be confined to a sentrying post on the edge of the snow pine forest, not allowed to set foot outside the Bren realm tribe without orders. Night fell, and KB walked in. I curled up on the bed, watching him fling the door shut behind him.
What, you planning to stand there guarding the door all night after the ceremony? I tapped the spot beside me. Get over here.
He didn't say a word, just walked over, pulled off his robe and let it drop. His back was all muscle and scars, some old, some fresh. Warrior-proof. Then he gave a low chuckle, then bit the corner of my lip, just enough to sting.
You're mine. What would I be scared of?
When I showed up, he raised a shaky arm. 3 months later, when the healer congratulated me on being pregnant, KX had already been crowned king, and I ruled the Elmist Unmentioned together with him. When he heard the news, he was dazed for a long while before reaching out his hand. "Touch it," I whispered, grabbing his hand to press it against me, guiding his palm slowly downward.
Eve, we're going to have a child.
I smiled and nodded gently. After that, news of Lena came from the eastern wastelands. It was said that, after being cast off by Cain that day, she suddenly ran out of the evil kingdom as if insane, and had never returned. The truth is, you locked me in the basement, and I died with my child, full of resentment.
Let's go.
The rainstorm washed over the pile of rubble, as if washing away a dirty past. I leaned at Kay's chest, listening his steady heartbeat, and felt completely at peace in my sinewy. He refused to take a nap until I promised to take him to ride a real dragon next spring. Sunlight spilled over the royal garden of the Abel Palace. Our son stumbled across the soft grass on his chubby little legs, waving a small wooden dragon sword and chasing a silver butterfly. I nestled against Kayan on the stone bench. We watched our son, gentle smiles on our faces, the warm afternoon light falling over us like a blessing. I leaned my head on Kayan's shoulder and murmured, "He has inherited your courage." Yesterday, he insisted on training with the royal guards. He refused to take a nap until I promised to take him to ride a real dragon next spring. Kay let out a low laugh, his voice vibrating in his chest.
He has also inherited your wisdom. Yesterday I saw him pick up every fallen starflower one by one and arrange them into a small dragon emb by the shape of their petals.
Case. I have always been curious. Everyone says the Southern Dragon Lord never forms alliances through marriage.
Why did you form an alliance by marrying me?
Father! Mother! Look! I caught the butterfly!
He fell silent for a moment. His deep blue eyes softened as they met mine, and a rare, gentle smile curved his lips.
Because you once saved my life. That year in the Black Forest, I was ambushed by traitors from the vassal tribes. My dragon was shot down. Badly wounded, I lay bleeding beneath the ancient trees. Everyone feared my reputation. Some fled, others kept their distance. But you, a 12-year-old princess who had snuck out of the palace, found me. You tore your cloak to stop my bleeding, and stayed until my men arrived. It was the first time anyone had ever come near me without fear.
My eyes widened slightly. I completely forgot about this.
But I have never forgotten. Back then, I only thought of you as an extraordinarily brave girl. But the moment I saw you at the tribal gathering, I knew I was starting to fall for you. Your eyes were so beautiful, yet your gaze was always fixed on Cain.
A few days before your coming-of-age ceremony, my vassals sent to watch the movements of the Bren tribe reported strange things. You no longer sought out Cain. You seemed different, distant, as if you had finally seen him clearly. That was when I allowed myself to hope.
I cupped his face in both hands and kissed him slowly, tasting the familiar fresh scent of pine and warmth that had become my home. When we pulled apart, I pressed my forehead against his.
Thank you for waiting for me. I made the right choice in this life.
Eve, you are the only choice I have ever needed.
Just then, our son came running over and crashed straight into us.
Father! Mother! Look! I caught the butterfly!